Hello everyone, welcome to the Jargus Ranger Review. This time we'll be looking at the 12th episode of Dino Charge, Night After Nights. Now this one starts off in space with Sledge mad that Fury lost the Terra Charger and its Energem. So he has a new monster called Bones, who looks like a pile of bones, to remove his courage and basically make him a complete wimp. But back on Earth, they're at the command center, and the team is teaching Ivan about all the Ranger tech and stuff that's been invented so far. And Ivan, being from 800 years ago, thinks it truly is magic. But not everyone is celebrating, because Tyler's writing in his journal, disappointed that he wasn't his dad after all. So he's feeling left out, especially since the other Rangers think Ivan's pretty damn cool. But Shelby and Coda interrupt his moping and says that they're still gonna find his dad. He's somewhere, so that helps reassure him. Fortunately, it's not all fun with our Rangers now, because Ivan takes his leave, because he says that his pledge to Xandor is for life, and the team has yet to prove themselves to me. Now, I really like Kendall's facial expressions, because whenever something like this happens, she just has this look on her face that's like, well, crap. Can't just let him do this, but nothing we can really do right now. She just looks so frustrated, but also sees the reality of the situation. And that's really good delivery on her actress's part, especially since you see it for no more than 2 seconds before the shot shifts to a new scene. Now, before they can pursue him, they have an alert that it's aliens at the docks. So it's the docks or the warehouse district? Always. So the Rangers go there, and you got Poisandra, Curio, and Bones. And the Rangers make quick work of the Viveks there, but they're struggling to do some damage to Bones, till Ivan shows up and starts kicking his ass pretty quickly. So our bad guys retreat, and Ivan takes his leave again to walk through the streets. And Shelby goes after him, even though he's being laughed at for his looks by people he passes. And Chase seems sorta jealous at the Knight's skills. So Shelby convinces him that they are a worthy team because they help bring him back from inside Fury. So they're a great team of heroes that's worth protecting and teaming up with. Unfortunately, when they come back, Bones is attacking the other Rangers, and he steals their courage. And then Ivan sees this and doubts their bravery. And it takes off again, this time to recruit a new team of Knights. And by taking their courage, I mean they're really scared, the Rangers now. I mean, they're afraid to even go inside their base entrance, because they think it'll bite their head off, or it's too dark in there. Even in his cave, Coda freaks out because there's a mouse in there. So yeah, we got some extreme cowardice now, thanks to Bones' power. And of course, Kendall and Shelby are kind of powerless to do anything about it. Meanwhile, some fun stuff goes down. Ivan sees a crossing guard and is amazed at his power to command these beasts that could crush him easily, and he asks him to join him on the quest. And of course, it's an old guy who's incredibly gullible, so he just goes along with it. I think maybe he's just humoring him or something. And the next acquisition is a street magician, because he believes that his ability to somehow swallow a sword is true skill that can be used in combat. And for one more, they see an old woman on a scooter cart, like whack off with her purse, someone trying to steal it. And he just tells his crew to stop. He says it like that, stop. I mean, we don't even see what they say to her. I mean, the magician guy, he just says, it will be a real job you will have. I love Power Rangers where half the civilians are idiots. So when our aliens do come back, they approach them with 2 more additions. A soccer referee and a guy with a tuba. And they don't seem afraid at all, seeing it. Poisandra, Curio, and Bones are big monsters. And then Ivan takes a sword out, taking the center lead, and says, "You now face the Knights of Amber Beach." Damn, that sounded so lame. But as soon as the Viveks show up, his teammates just run away. Because they ain't dealing with that crap, they don't want to die. And Ivan's like, it really is hard to find a loyal team. Something along those lines. He said something about loyalty. And Shelby just goes on their own to fight the battle because the other boys aren't going to help at all in their condition. But then Keeper actually gets involved and gives them some pep talk. He says, you want to save your friends and Shelby despite your fear. And then they think about it for a minute. and it causes their courage to leave Bones and go back to the Rangers because their desire to help Shelby is greater than the fear that they were instilled with. So they're back to normal. But before they get there, Ivan's being outnumbered until Shelby arrives on her cycle, and he remarks on her courage. Yet somehow, just by being pushed off, even though she's suffered much greater blows before, that's enough to demorph Shelby. Fortunately, the other 4 Rangers finally come to help them, and that prompts Curio and Poisandra to get the hell out of there because they know they're no match for the whole team. So finally they all morph together and Ivan's moving extremely fast, like just decimating everybody. Then he swaps charges of another Ranger, I just forgot which one it was, for a Morpher Blast plus Terra Saber for a final strike. So it's really nice and flashy looking. And of course, Sledge uses his Magna Beam, and this time both Megazords are summoned to fight him. Ivan, being quicker, leads the attack, putting Bones off guard, giving the Rangers an opening to attack him. Then they use both the finishing moves. The Ranger's final slash, and then he uses a lightning blitz and it completely destroys Bones. So for once they're working together as a team in battle. Now we don't really see what happens up in orbit, so we just go back to the Dino Cafe. Ivan's telling a story. How basically the Energen bonded with him during the fight with Fury. And then he used his weird energy traction to suck him inside him, and he was trapped. So that fully explains that plotline, but continues the mystery of Tyler's father. And to get some funness, it ends off with him tasting a Bronto burger, and he wanted more, and Coda offered fries, so they go off and get some. Notice that Ivan's speaking a lot more casually now, still with his old-timey tone, but more closer to the current culture. But then again, I guess everybody speaks the language of good food. So that's the end of this episode, and really, I really enjoyed it. Mainly because of Ivan. I mean, we've seen the stealing courage or willingness to fight power a lot of times before, so it's really nothing new. But putting Ivan in there, getting a whole new team of random people to try and fight the monsters, that was something I don't think I've seen before, and that was really fun to see. He's pretty much stealing the show for the whole episode. I pretty much loved every moment he was on screen. So it was a decent episode, but we got to see just how powerful the Gold Ranger is. So probably soon he'll be normalized and his power will be about the same with the other Rangers in the next few episodes, I'm sure. So I'm looking forward to see where the plot goes from here. This wasn't a bad episode. Not as great as the last few, but still very enjoyable. Mainly for the comedy factor. So I give it a 7 out of 10. And that's all for this review. Now I'm Jargus Zero, and until we meet again, let the power protect you.